Now, how many of y'all think this is true, that CAT is very, very difficult? Now, I want to get rid of this very first misconception. CAT is not a difficult exam. Now, there are two reasons why I state that. Number one, CAT, unlike any other exam that you might have written earlier, most of the exams that you've written earlier, whether it is JEE, NEET, or any other exam, competitive exam, they were what we like to call knowledge-based exams. CAT is very, very different. CAT is an aptitude-based exam. Now, what is the difference between knowledge-based exams and aptitude-based exams? Now, that's the very first thing we want to go ahead and talk about. Now, there are two things. Number one, aptitude-based exams, they are, governed, and they have a lot of questions and insufficient time. For example, in the CAT paper, you go ahead and state you've got 66 questions and you have 2 hours. That means 120 minutes. So per question, you don't even have 2 minutes. You've got less than 2 minutes per question. In another exam, say if you write SNAP, you'll find there are 60 questions and 60 minutes. So that's 1 question per minute. So you go ahead and write NMAT. You will find there are 108 questions and there are 120 minutes. So the problem with aptitude exams is the number of questions versus the time given to you is slightly disproportionate. So the ratio of number of questions by time is slightly disproportionate. That is what an aptitude exam is, number one. Number two, an aptitude exam has multiple sections. For example, in CAT, we've already spoken about predominantly 3 sections: quant, DILR, verbal. Next, you need to get a minimum score in each section. What do we call this? We call this a cutoff. You need a sectional cutoff in each section. You need to ensure that you're able to go ahead and showcase that you have minimum level of expertise in every single section. And finally, there is penalty for incorrect questions. Now, exams like CAT, okay, ZAT, so on and so forth, all of these exams are something called negative marking. Now, in general, the CAT exam, as I stated, 66 questions, 120 minutes. The marking scheme is for every right answer +3 and for every wrong answer -1. If you do not attempt, 0. So the problem with this is, imagine I attempt 10 questions, I get 5 right and 5 wrong. It is 5 into 3, 15 positive marks, 5 into 1, which is 5 negative marks. So the net marks is 15 minus 5, 10. So you need to be careful about not making mistakes. Now, these are the problems with aptitude papers. What is generally asked for in an aptitude exam? Well, as I stated, now this is why I turn around and state that according to me, aptitude exams are generally easier. They are much easier than knowledge-based exam. Number one is this. All of y'all who have not done mathematics after class 10, forget it. You don't need to worry. No tension. Don't need to worry. In an aptitude exam, concepts only up to class 9 and 10 are asked. Only up to 9 and 10. And even in that, we will identify and tell you categorically which are the sub parts that you need to do. For example, just to give you context, arithmetic. You all have all heard of arithmetic, right? You all have all heard of arithmetic. You all have all heard of algebra, right? Arithmetic plus algebra is roughly 3/4 of quant. 3/4, 75% of the paper is only arithmetic and algebra. So if I am in your shoes, forget geometry. Forget geometry. You don't like geometry, forget it. You don't need to worry. Cylinder, prism, pyramid, you have no idea, forget it. Sphere, nahi samajh aata, leave it. You don't worry about it. Modern math, you don't like probability, permutation, combination, leave it. You don't like number systems, leave it. You can get rank 1 in CAT by leaving these topics as well. So do not worry. Do not worry. That's the first thing. So an aptitude exam predominantly concentrates on topics from till classes 9 and 10. If you look at the quant part of the paper, most of the questions actually predominantly come from class 7-8 mathematics. Now, how many of y'all feel, yeah, if class 7-8 mathematics comes, I will be able to handle? If class 7-8 mathematics comes, I'll be able to handle. See, so many yeses. Almost every person is saying yes. So number one, class 7-8 math. Now, few of y'all are saying no, don't worry. All those basics will also be covered in the class. But if you already feel confident, you're already better off than a lot of people. So that's point one. Data interpretation. Now, how many of y'all in data interpretation and logical reasoning, let me ask, how many of y'all look at the Sudoku and try solving it? Do you know in CAT, over the last 3 years, every year, a set in which the logic is very, very similar to a Sudoku logic has come every year in the last 3 years? Every year in the last 3 years, one set in which the logic of solving the set is exactly the same as what you use in Sudoku comes every year. Every year. Okay, so every year that happens. So my recommendation is, if you are looking at DILR, all that you need to go ahead and do, is ensure that you go ahead and look at puzzles. Clear? Cool. So the first thing that I want to tell all of you all who are worrying that Tita has come in, what will happen? Do not worry, yaar. Do not worry. Tita is only 20 to 25% of the paper. 75% is still MCQ. Do not worry. The next part, reading comprehensions and verbal ability. Now, comprehension, let me ask you, in a comprehension, the easiest type of question is the question whose answer is directly in the passage, yes or no? Which is what we like to call a fact-based question. Imagine the passage says Sachin Tendulkar is the best ever Indian batsman. Sachin Tendulkar has gone ahead and scored so many centuries. Sachin Tendulkar has over 17,000 runs, so on and so forth. And the question in the passage is, who is the best ever cricketer? You know the answer is not Sachin Tendulkar, because the passage was saying Sachin is the best ever batsman. The question is best ever cricketer. It's different, right? It's different. But if the question is who is the best ever batsman, you have to copy, paste, and cheat from the passage. These type of questions are what we like to call fact-based questions, or questions where the answer is directly from the passage. In CAT, roughly 40% of the questions in RC are fact-based or directly from the passage. 40% are directly from the passage. That means all that you need to do is sit down and read the passage. अगर आपने read कर लिया, if you've read it, all you need to do is copy the answer from what you've read. Copy paste. If you're good at cheating, from the paper in front of you, there is no reason why you will not score 40% of the marks. And 40% of the marks is automatically going to give you an 80 percentile. And the final thing that generally comes is general knowledge. It does not come in CAT. It comes in certain other MB exams, for example, IFT, TISNET, a little bit in ZAT. Those are the exams where general knowledge comes. Now, this is something I want you all to concentrate on. This is something. I just want you to take a guess. Now, I've already shown the table, but I'm still wanting you to take a guess. Think of it logically. If you want to score 70 percentile, you want to score better than 70% of the people writing the CAT exam, how much do you think you need to score in the paper? Keep in mind, there are 66 questions. Each question carries 3 marks. So total number of marks is 66 into 3, which is 198. If you want to score better than 70% of the people, all you need to score is about 30 to 35 marks. That means 70% of the people writing CAT don't score 30 to 35. Now, how many people write CAT every year? Generally, registration like last year goes up to 2.3 to 2.4. Number of people writing it is about 2 to 2.2 lakh. Let's take 2 lakh. 2 lakh is a round figure. I am saying you will be better than 70%. What is 70% of 2 lakh? 1.4 lakhs. You will score more than 1.4 lakh people if you score 30 to 35. सबसे पहले तो ये बात है. That means, and if the marking scheme is +3, that means I am saying you need to get 10 to 11 questions right in 2 hours. Now, if I forget everything. I give you a paper which has 66 questions, predominantly of classes 7, 8, 9, 10. Difficult, long to read. Let me accept everything that everybody has stated. Long to read and everything. सब कुछ मान लिया, ठीक है? सब कुछ मान लिया. Do you think you have the confidence in 120 minutes to be able to answer 10 to 11 questions in 120 minutes? That's it. Just 10 to 11 without preparation. अभी मैं एक पेपर दे दूंगा. I'll give you a paper right now, 66 questions. Do you think you can go ahead and answer 10 to 11 questions? Yes. That means without preparation on day one, all of you all feel you will be better than 70% Janta. You will be better than 70% Janta. Now, like Karthik and a few others pointed out, your aim is to be in this range. Am I correct? Yes or no? Your aim is to be 90 percentile and above. Now look at this. Just look at the jumps. For 70 percentile last year, you needed 2930. That is 10 questions. For 80 percentile, 35.5. That is 12 questions. That means 2 additional questions. From 10 questions to 2 questions. 2 additional questions, you got 80 percentile. If you can answer 12 questions, you got 80. You are better than 80%. If you can answer 16 questions, get a score of 48. You are at 90 percentile. Better than 90% of the people writing the exam. If you can answer 20 questions, you were at 95 percentile. If you could answer 27, 28 questions, you were at 99 percentile. I want this part to sink in first. all of you all stated right now, all of you all, Abhi, right now you all turned around and stated, yes, I am confident without preparation. You give me 2 hours. You give me 2 hours, I can go ahead and get 70 percentile by getting 10, 11 right. Now keep that in mind. From 10, 11 questions, if you want to go to 60 marks, that is 20 questions, all you need is from 11 to 20, 9 additional questions. Do you think, now hear me out, do you think in 6 months, in 6 months, with proper guidance, help in strategy, and hardcore preparations, you can answer 9 additional questions? You are already thinking I can do 10, 11 today. All you need is 9 more. Do you think you can do that with proper guidance in 6 months? That's all that you need, and you are at 95 percentile. And when you hit a 95 percentile, the newer IMs automatically start. The baby IMs automatically start. You are already into the vicinity of the top 20 B schools of the country. So that is the first thing I wanted to keep in mind. This is why I state, when you compare this exam to a JEE, NEET and others, it is easier to handle, because yahan pe you will be able to handle. For me, the CAT exam is like Virat Kohli chasing. Everybody states Virat Kohli is a master chaser, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a great finisher. I am saying CAT examination is chasing. You know the target. The target is, if I score around 60 to 65 marks, that means 20 to 22 questions, I will score 95 percentile ke aspas. If I score 85 to 90 के आसपास, I will score about 99 percentile के आसपास. The CAT exam is like a chasing match. It's like T20 में I'm chasing a target, ODI में I'm chasing a target. Think of the CAT exam as if you are chasing a target. That's how the mentality should be. You're not setting a target. So you already know what it is that you have to score, irrespective of the paper. Focus on that. Is that clear? Last year was a slightly more difficult paper. The year before was easier. The easier the paper, the higher it will go. The easier the paper, the better you will feel. If I give you an easier paper, even you will be able to do 1 or 2 additional questions. That's the mentality. Clear? Now, some of you all are stating, how did this happen? 173 in 2017. Let's get this clear. Please keep in mind, in 2022 and 21, the total marks was 198, 198. In 2020, it was 228. In 2019 till 2017, it was 300. Number two thing to keep in mind, 2017 has probably been the easiest paper in the history of CAT. Easiest. Matlab, there were questions from class 7 directly. Direct questions. They had given questions on addition of fractions. As simple as that. A class 4 question. It was a bacha paper, a kiddish paper, which is why the marks get higher. Clear? Easy? Understood? Now, those of you all worrying, DILR, no, DILR wasn't difficult in 2017. It was difficult in 2016. 2017 was a cakewalk. It was an absolute cakewalk. Okay? So, more of that, in our classes, when you find me, I'll come in and we'll discuss 2017, 16, 18, all of those papers. We'll go ahead and have a discussion on that, and you'll understand why I'm stating that it was easier. Okay? Let's move ahead.